Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Quizmakers podcast. Today, I'm talking to my co-founder, Mike, again. Hello, Mike.
Hey, Boris.
And we're going to chat about quiz marketing 101. So the basics about how to use quizzes for marketing that we learned in the past 6 years since we started Riddle. So, Mike, give me a high-level overview because you've been in the front lines talking to a lot of customers in our customer support and learned how they use quizzes for marketing.
Yes. No, at Riddle, we really love the whole customer support first culture, which means we get to answer lots of questions, which means we get to learn what our community is doing, which is really, really insightful. In terms of quiz marketing, there's a couple use cases, and they kind of fall within. There's the lead generation. I want to collect emails and grow my marketing list. There's also the pure engagement play. I just want to get people to take my quiz, use it, maybe share it socially. That's fine. But there's a third one, which is also quite interesting, and they can all be linked together. It's not an either or situation. But there is a way to recommend products or to segment your audience to present the right offer at the right time to the right person. So for example, at the end of a quiz, hey, based on your results, we think you should buy this, or we think this is your type of, this is your particular, medical issue. And here, oh, by the way, here's a coupon. So those are the three broad use cases.
Okay. Product recommendations. I've always been a fan of Wired magazine. I've been reading it since it came into print, and it always had on the back pages a product finder, sometimes a really funny product finder, sometimes useful ones that guide you down like a decision tree. And yeah, we added that to Riddle, but not for that purpose. We actually added it for something completely different, right? And we had a different name for that, if I recall. Yes. It was an interactive story, but that can be used quite well, right, for product finding. How does that work?
So if there's one thing that we've learned is that our community will take whatever tools we offer and be super imaginative in applying them to marketing. So in this case, we had a branching logic function built into a quiz. So instead of the same list of questions to everybody, we said, okay, let's qualify and show different questions to each user based on their answers. So for example, this is a more of a marketing approach, but if you're a real estate agent, you could say, okay, what's your dream house? And question one could say like, oh, hey, do you have kids? And if they say yes, then the next question might be, okay, well, how many kids? I have 1 child, 2 child, 4 children. You're like, okay, if someone says 4 children, the next question can be like, okay, do you want to live in the suburbs or out in the country? Because city living with 4 kids is probably going to be really expensive. So again, you keep segmenting all the way down. And at the end of it, they should have, hey, we recommend this house, these houses, based on your criteria. Someone who answered the other way, he's like, hey, I don't have kids. I love living in the city. Okay, here's some apartments we have for you, or here is a small studio, or whatever. But again, different questions to different users gets a much more granular and specific outcome.
Right. And I think the funny backstory to this idea, which isn't really a quiz, right? It's more a pass. You lead someone down, like these decision trees in magazines, right? So which cell phone should you buy, right?
Well, there's that, but they're also like the choose your own adventure books back in the day.
Right.
So remember those? Did you ever read those, Boris?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, at the end of every page, you have a choice. And then based on your choice, it guides you through the story. So.
Kill the dragon or run away. And if you say kill the dragon and you don't have the right weapons, the book is over.
Yeah. Buy the sports car or buy the more responsible minivan.
Yep. Absolutely. So that works really well for marketing. And then you touched on the obvious, which is lead gen. And I think there's some facts about quiz lead gen that most people don't realize, which is how well it actually works. and they're shocked sometimes by how many leads a quiz can generate, right?
Right. And the statistic that I know you and I love So, like if you're casually browsing the web and you come across someone's blog, or there's almost always at some point a pop-up that says, "Oh, don't go, sign up for my newsletter." And that's kind of from a value proposition, a newsletter, is that really worth giving up my email address? I have to really, really like what that person's saying. Otherwise, I'll just remember and come back, and probably won't.
Right.
So the statistic we've heard is from Sumo, and they know their online marketing up and down. It's 2% is the average opt-in rate for email collection forms across the internet. So 2%. But for us, I think it's 35 to 40% is what we see from really well done quizzes.
Right.
So that's
And
20 times.
we should probably mention that we don't track this, but we hear it from our users, right? In case
Right. No,
someone's
that's
concerned about privacy and GDPR, we don't know this about your quiz until you tell us. But people are so shocked often that they contact us and ask, is this for real? Or am I a complete outlier with what I've done? And we're like, oh, you're only getting 27%? You're not doing everything right. Let us help you, right?
Yeah. Well, I've seen people ask us, they go, how am I, or like they were really happy. They said, wow, we're getting 15% opt-in rates. This is awesome. And of course, to you and I, Boris, we're like, well, that's not bad, but we could do better. So we normally help them with, optimizing the quiz or lead form, et cetera. But yeah, 35 to 40% is a good target to shoot for. Sotic is one of our sports publishers, our sports agencies. And they did a case study with us where one of their top professional sporting clients in the UK got a 55% opt-in rate. And obviously the client was exceptionally happy because that just blew every other metric out of the water.
Yeah, and that should totally pay for whatever you're paying for a quiz builder, be it Riddle or some other quiz builder out there. And there are others, but you shouldn't check them out. Just okay. So we had lead gen. We briefly covered the product finder. And lastly, there's just the very targeted call to action buttons, right? Also a very highly effective tool to add to a quiz, right?
Yeah, it's a low friction. It's a low friction way of getting in front of your customers and presenting special offers or targeted discounts based on their quiz results. So if you look at most quiz makers, they will ask the questions, they will give the option for a lead form before the user's results. And a lead form done well does not have to be a friction. But some people, they like to gate the results of the quiz before you move on. So it's like, give me your email or no results for you. We don't really like that, but that is an option. However, call to action buttons, you say questions, maybe you have a lead form, maybe you don't, but then you get to the quiz results. And let's say it's like a cybersecurity analysis. If you're an IT company and you're saying, hey, take this quiz, let's see how vulnerable you are for cybersecurity wise as a business. And at the end, people who are high risk, you have a call to action button in the results. So they read, you've established your professional expertise and value proposition saying, wow, they know what they're talking about. Then there's a button saying, hey, save 25% on our cybersecurity overview. So like, oh, that's kind of cool. But again, it's not intrusive. People can choose to click it or not. So we see about 20-25% click-in or opt-in rates there, which again is phenomenal for online marketing. But again, someone who knew their stuff, their security risks are quite low, then you would show a different button. Say maybe, hey, a free 6 months, well, that's quite a lot, but maybe free 1 month to our cybersecurity monitoring service. So there's different call to actions, different products based on their needs.
Right, and then these work really, really well because they're tailored to the actual results. And as we know, one of the really cool things about quizzes, personality tests, is people take them because they're genuinely interested in themselves and not helping you as a marketer do market research, right? So if you did a, let's say, questionnaire and you call it, a cybersecurity assessment and you had a section of 10 true or false questions, not a lot of people sit through that and answer that, right?
Right.
But if you do a fun and engaging quiz, and it's a cybersecurity quiz, and the questions are not just true or false, it's situational. They put you into situations where, hey, an email with this subject line arrives. What do you do, right? Or there's this email from PayPal asking you to call and give us the password. How do you react? That's much more interesting to answer than if you had a questionnaire that just says, how often do you often click on links on emails, from a lot to not a lot,
Yeah. Yeah.
It just gets boring. So they do it for themselves, not as a marketing exercise. So at the end, they get a result, if the quiz is done well, that actually matches their personality, in this case, their security, consciousness, yeah? And then they get a result that matches this. So that's why you see these high click rates in quizzes and personality tests.
Yeah, and they're essentially a top of funnel exercise. So people are browsing, they come across your website, maybe you drive traffic from Facebook or LinkedIn, but you're just saying, hey, this is some content. And basically people start taking it, learning a bit more about you. But that's where the lead form and all the other stuff then takes them further down the purchase funnel to say, okay, because maybe a lot of people are just browsing, but a good percentage of them will, find that valuable, sign up for your marketing list, and then you can again start that whole marketing process to convert them to a paying customer.
Right. And you even have the option now with Riddle to not show them the result on the website, actually, but to send their results in an email to them. So that's like a much stronger call to action to say, enter your email so we can email you a report, than saying, enter your email so I can send you spam.
Yes. And actually, the other part about this again ties back into a lot of your other marketing assets, but instead of just a relatively short quiz result, because most quizzes are kind of bite-sized pieces of content, you can really go into greater depth and detail in an email report, but using our email builder from riddle.com. But there's lots of ways you could actually make a customized report saying, hey, first name, on question 1, you answered blank. So I'm going to show, then you have an explanation. If they answered a different option, you show a different explanation. Fully automated, but it gives a nice personalized result. But again, that's just another way to show value to the user.
Absolutely. And, as you said in the beginning, you get a lot of questions in customer support. And we should probably point out, if someone has an idea or a marketing problem, please hit us up in chat on riddle.com and just ask us, and we'd be happy to brainstorm with you. But I just, before we end, I'd love to hear maybe not the most stupid question, because we don't want to embarrass anyone, but what was one of the funnier customer support questions you got over the years?
I know we've both had our share of just really funny, really insightful, but also very funny questions. This one time happened about 6 months ago. So Riddle, quizzes, personality tests, and it has a free trial. So a lot of teachers will often find us and say, hey, this is some really cool content I can get my students involved with. And so normally the best way is when teachers just create the quiz and then give it to their students. The more exciting way is when the students are asked to create their own quizzes. And what's funny is that I got a message on our support chat, and we're super fast, so I instantly answered, how can I help? And this person was asking, hey, I need some help with an American history quiz. Like, okay. Now, bear in mind, I used to be a history teacher, so it's like, that's unusual and not really a business related. Okay. So I started helping him, but as I was typing my response, another message and another message and another message. So I think I had 4 or 5 very same thing. Can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me? Turns out there was one class of junior high kids, and they all wanted me to create their homework. And so I said, hey, no, I'm not going to go for that, because I used to be a history teacher, guys. I know what it's like. Do your own work. And so, of course, being teenagers, they signed off with a bunch of silly and funny and random gifts. So that just made my day. I was helping a teacher out.
I hope the teacher gave him extra credit for being creative and asking for help from an expert.
You're using online resources.
Absolutely. Smart kids. All right. Well, thank you so much, Mike. Really insightful info on how to use quizzes for marketing. Love to chat more about one of these topics, maybe how to, do more targeting and segmenting using emails and additional quiz links that you can put into emails. There's a lot of things you can do, and we'll catch up on that in the next episode when we talk again.
Perfect. I love our weekly chats.
Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye, Mike.
You too.